Today in America, the winds of change are blowing hard and fast, ladies and gentlemen. They've even reached us here at NSU as we prepare to take on a new president. But before we find out where we're going, let's revisit where we've been. Good evening, I'm Landon Wright. And we already know that while Jim Henderson was president here at Northwestern, he made plenty of big changes and changed up the scene for both student and faculty. But what a lot of us that didn't get the opportunity to actually meet one-on-one with Jim Henderson or take any of his classes or attend a meeting with him, don't really get to see the inside look from his perspective of how he really changed this campus and really how he feels about different issues surrounding the position. So, now we're going to go in exclusively one-on-one for one last farewell interview with Dr. Henderson himself. All right, here we are, Dr. Henderson. How you doing today, sir?
Doing great, doing wonderful.
Yes, sir. Well, we all know you've been president here for going on almost 2 years now. And I myself personally can say that I had a year here with Dr. Webb while he was still president. And then when you came in, things, subtly started changing. But after a while, it kind of started looking like night and day, man. So could you just kind of go ahead and let us know, first off, a little bit of background for those that may or may not know. I read somewhere that you were in hotel management and all for about 10 years. What made you want to make that transition back over to education?
Well, I did work in hotel management. Is how I got through school. I was working in North Arkansas and in Memphis and in Missouri area. And but after having a family and after we started having kids, the travel, the moving was a little bit much. It's not really conducive to family life. So Tanya and I had a good conversation. The company I was working for wanted me to move to Jacksonville, Florida. And she thought that was just too far away. And it just so happens that a reform-minded governor named Mike Foster had taken office and wanted me to come work for the Department of Labor to help add kind of a business focus to what they do.
Interesting.
And from then is where I transitioned into higher education.
Nice. Yes, sir. So you were actually asked by the governor to go take over. Is that
well, through his Secretary of Labor,
okay.
Gary Forster. And so we did a lot of reform and made workforce development and economic development kind of key buzzwords in Louisiana.
Yes, sir. So when you came back into the education scene, I'm sure you didn't just start right off at good old NSU. Did you have to start anywhere first?
So I went to work with the Louisiana Community Technical College System. I was their senior vice president for workforce and economic development. And then also oversaw the operations of all the Louisiana technical colleges. So 48 campuses around the state of Louisiana. After about 5 years of that, Bossier Parish Community College, the chancellorship opened there. And that was the one community college, a brand new campus, beautiful, beautiful facility, yet they were declining in enrollment. And so I was asked to go and see if we could find ways to re-energize that campus. And so over the next almost 6 years, we grew by 98% in enrollment, created new buildings, created new infrastructure, and really helped with the faculty and staff create one of the finest community colleges in the nation.
Yes, sir. So would you say that in your particular field, even though your field consists of pretty high up positions, that would you consider yourself kind of like a problem solver, kind of like a guy that could get in and fix any issues?
I really like to go into organizations and understand the culture, because to me the culture is what drives everything else. And so far I've been very good at surrounding myself with great leaders to support a pursuit of a mission that is compelling, that creates an intense desire on the part of the organization to realize a pretty audacious vision, and it seems to work regardless of the application.
Nice, yes, sir. So big question here, kind of the one I've been waiting to ask. When you came in, not just me, but about a good 90% of the students here also wanted to know, what was the deal with all of the wet campus rumors, man?
I have no idea. I've got some roots in South Louisiana. Maybe they saw some of that. We are a campus that understands we've got a lot of adults on campus, that students are adults, that they're over 21. We believe that there is an appropriate use of adult beverages that can be tolerated.
Absolutely.
And I think we've got that now. Now, are we going to be a campus ever that has a full-blown bar? I doubt it, not anytime soon. But it hasn't always been that way. Back when I was a student here, They used to serve beer down in the pizza place down at the bottom of the Union.
Yes, sir. That's what I've heard. That's
Yeah.
now the current alley, right?
Well, it's gone through some changes over time. And you know, what we want is to have a safe environment, an enriching student experience, to the point that alcohol plays a role in that. You know, I think there's a balance you can strike and really give students exactly what they need.
Yes, sir. I've also noticed, just touching up on that, the president, he's always, been a friendly guy. I feel like that's just part of the job title,
That's right, yeah.
But, our previous president, Dr. Webb, great man, but he was just kind of like an entity. You only really saw him when it was a big convocation. I saw you walking around the tailgate field Saturday, going to check out the Demons. I also see you at soccer games, basketball games. So is that just you personally? You just personally into sports and everything?
I love sports. I love to be around students. I get a lot of energy from being around the student body. So it's a little bit self-serving as well. We think it's an important part of the role to be approachable to students. As many students I see in person, I see 5 times as many through social media. It's just a great way to develop a relationship with our students, because students are our future. Everything that we do as an institution is around students.
Absolutely, yes, sir. So, I noticed, just from seeing you at all these different sports events, I said, yeah, the guy's probably a sports fan, but hey, he's probably, just really trying to stir up, some student,
It goes both ways. I go to a lot of artistic events. The creative and performing arts here is just stellar.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
So there's never a shortage of music events or theatrical events or dance events to go to, and we try to make as many of those as we can.
Yes, sir. So another thing, I know, it's been a short run. It's only been about 1.5 years, almost 2. And in that short amount of time, what I've always heard is, in any kind of, I wouldn't really necessarily consider this real politics, but it's definitely got a political background. There's always going to be something that comes up, just like any business, some kind of controversy. Would you mind telling us any kind of, I'm not really going to say controversial, but any big things that happened that you kind of had to take care of that could have turned very controversial?
Well, sure. We're a diverse community. We come from all demographic backgrounds, all socioeconomic backgrounds. We have different belief systems, different principles. Anytime you have that in a confined space like a campus, there's opportunities for conflict. And I think we've addressed a lot of those by creating an atmosphere where people really feel welcome, where they feel like it's an inclusive campus. We're not perfect by any stretch, but by just maintaining openness and open line of communications and being truly authentic, you can avoid a lot of those controversies.
Absolutely. Well, that just about wraps it up. But before we go ahead and end it, let's just let us know, Dr. Henderson, where are you going from here?
Well, I'll go on. It wasn't my choice really to leave after 2 years. It wasn't part of the plan anyway. And after a long conversation, we're part of a system of 9 universities that's called the University of Louisiana System. And, I've just watched how tuition has doubled on the backs of our students, where the state is investing fewer and fewer resources into higher education. I think we've got some room to improve policies that would impact students, number one. And so when I was asked to become the president of the University of Louisiana System, I said, this is something that's for the greater good. It's something I'm going to have to do, even if it means leaving my alma mater. But we'll still be very, very close in contact. We'll still have our hands in a lot of things that happen at Northwestern. We'll still be very visible on this campus and the other 8 UL system campuses. But at the end of the day, we'll always be Demons.
Yes, sir. Always. And just one more quick question here. This one may seem a little controversial, but trust me, it's not intended to be. With the current election that just took place, we all noticed.
I wasn't aware of one. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was all over the news.
Yeah,
it's weird.
I heard that. I saw it on Twitter.
Oh, well, there we go. Actually, touching up on that, you're a very big president when it comes to social media.
Yeah, that's right.
That's actually very rare. Is that something you just kind of picked up because you knew you would need it, or are you just a social media guy and like staying?
Well, I wasn't a fan of Twitter at first because I didn't quite grasp the organic nature of Twitter. Mm-hmm. But after a while, I realized it was one of the most effective tools to really stay in contact with a very large audience, and so it's been a great tool for me to use.
Absolutely, yes, sir. And getting back to this whole election thing, in case you didn't know, we now live in a government that's Trump-powered. And
I've heard that.
as an educator and a guy that's, I mean, not just an educator, you're over people that are over people that educate. Is there anything you would like to see come out of our new agenda that's going to benefit education? What are you looking for in this new president's agenda that relates back to higher education?
Well, I think the most important thing that we can have in the United States is one. I'm a little bit of a libertarian, so I want people's individual rights to be protected. I think that the president is limited in what he can do in that regard, other than he appoints the members of the judiciary. So I hope you'll keep that in mind. But the most important thing that the president can do is adopt policies, a regulatory environment that leads to economic growth. Economic growth is the circumstance that allows people to realize their dreams, that allows them to become self-sufficient, allows them to have the dignity that comes with having a job, with having a sustainable income. And so I hope we'll create the economic environment that allows people to realize their potential. And the surest way to do that is with a college education. So I think the two go hand in hand. We need strong economic growth that's built around a learning economy, so that students that are graduating with the ability to think critically, solve problems, and communicate effectively, they can thrive and realize their own God-given potential.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Well, that just about wraps it up here. Sir, I just want to say personally it's been an honor. It's been a lot of fun getting to hang out with you for a second. Is there any last closing out words of advice you have for everybody here at Northwestern as you move on?
Hey, just keep doing what you're doing. Keep realizing, utilizing all the talents that you've been given. Develop yourself, become a learner, and always fork 'em demons.
You heard it here, ladies and gentlemen, from the man himself, Fork 'em Demons. This is Jim Henderson and Landon Wright signing out.